Stop throwing $200 down the garden center drain every single March. You bought the petunias, you babied the impatiens, and by October, you were left with empty pots and zero return on your investment. Unless you stop making this one mistake. Most gardeners are renting their plants, paying full price every single spring for plants that die every winter. That is not gardening. That is a subscription you never signed up for. Here's what the smartest gardeners figured out a long time ago. Certain perennials don't just come back. They multiply. Every 3 to 5 years, one plant becomes 6. 6 becomes 36. And every single one of those new plants is free. I'm going to show you 15 of those plants today. For each one, I'll give you the zone range, the deer resistance rating, and the division math so you know exactly what you're getting back over 5 years. And stay to the very end. There is one plant on this list that could save you $300 in a single weekend. I will tell you which one at the very end. This video is about 12 minutes. Let's get into it. Here is the math that most gardeners never do. The average homeowner spends between $150 and $200 on annual flowers every spring. Do that for 5 years, that's $1,000. And at the end of those 5 years, you have nothing to show for it. You start from zero again every March. Now, here's what happens when you switch to the right perennials. You spend about $15 on a daylily. You plant it. It comes back next spring without you doing anything. By year 3 to 5, that one clump has multiplied into 4 to 6 new plants, according to University Horticulture Extension research. Each of those divisions is worth $10 to $15 at any nursery. And if you let it keep going, by year 5, you're looking at 16 to 24 plants from that single $15 investment. That's $240 to $360 in nursery value from one plant. Now multiply that across 15 plants. Think of it like compound interest, except instead of money, your garden is the account. The dividends pay out in free plants. The mistake most gardeners make is thinking about plants as things they buy. The smarter way to think about it, you're not buying a plant. You're buying the first generation of a plant engine. Stop renting your garden. Start owning it. So which 15 plants actually work this way? Here they are with the data. One quick note on the deer numbers. I'm rating every plant on a simple 3-tier scale, so you know exactly what you're working with. Bulletproof means deer almost always walk right on by. Strong means it holds up in most yards, rain or shine. And situational means it depends on your herd and how hungry they get. Here's the honest truth. No catalog will tell you no plant is 100% deer-proof. A starving deer will sample almost anything. So treat these as the odds in your favor, not a guarantee. Plant number 1. Daylily. Zones 3 through 9. Deer rating bulletproof. If you want bright splashes of gold and orange spilling over the border without lifting a finger, this is your engine, and it earns its keep faster than just about anything you can plant. University Extension research confirms daylilies are best divided every 3 to 5 years, and each established clump can yield 6 or more divisions. They thrive in full sun to partial shade, tolerate drought once established, and come in thousands of cultivars. If you plant one thing from this list today, make it a daylily. Plant number 2. Hostas. Zones 3 through 9. Deer rating situational. Honest truth here, deer will eat hostas if they're hungry enough. But hostas are shade champions and division machines. A mature clump divides cleanly every 3 to 4 years into 3 to 5 new plants. If deer are serious in your yard, Plant hostas close to the house in protected spots. In the right location, one of the best value for dollar plants you can grow. Plant number 3. Black-eyed Susan. Zones 3 through 10. Deer rating strong. Self-seeds and divides, meaning you get free plants 2 different ways. Divide clumps every 2 to 4 years. Thrives in full sun, tolerates poor soil. A true low-maintenance multiplier. Plant number 4. Purple coneflower, also called echinacea. Zones 3 through 9. Deer rating strong. Divides every 3 to 4 years and self-seeds readily. Pollinators love it. Birds eat the seed heads in winter. Tough, beautiful, and generous with new plants year after year. Plant number 5. Catmint. Zones 3 through 8. Deer rating bulletproof. Deer turn up their noses at the aromatic silvery foliage. It spreads at the base and can be divided every 2 to 3 years. Picture a soft cloud of lavender blue haze humming with bees in early summer. Cut it back after the first flush and it blooms again. One of the most reliable perennials for the front of a border. Now a quick note. If you're in Zone 10, or if deer are a serious problem in your yard, pay close attention to the next few plants. These were specifically chosen with you in mind. Plant number 6. Coreopsis, also called tick seed. Zones 4 through 10. Deer rating strong. Divides every 2 to 3 years. Thrives in hot, dry conditions, perfect for Zone 10 gardeners. Long bloom season, bright yellow flowers, almost zero maintenance once established. Plant number 7. Salvia. Zones 4 through 10 depending on variety. Deer rating bulletproof. The aromatic oils send most browsers looking elsewhere. Many salvias spread at the base and can be divided or rooted from cuttings. Full sun, drought tolerant, and a pollinator powerhouse. Plant number 8. Sedum. Zones 3 through 10. Deer rating strong. Divides every 3 to 4 years into generous clumps. Thrives in poor, dry soil. One of the best Zone 10 perennials on this list. It handles heat and neglect better than almost anything. Plant number 9. Russian sage. Zones 4 through 9. Deer rating bulletproof. In most regions, it's as close to deer-proof as nature allows. The pungent fragrance typically sends browsers looking the other way. It spreads by underground runners and can be divided every 3 to 4 years. Imagine a knee-high mist of silvery foliage and hazy purple spikes swaying in the late summer breeze when most other perennials have already called it quits. Plant number 10. Yarrow. Zones 3 through 9. Deer rating strong. I want to be upfront, yarrow will spread. Divide every 2 to 3 years to keep it in check. But if you want a plant that fills space fast, gives you a ton of divisions, and tolerates drought and poor soil, yarrow delivers. Plant number 11. Liriope, also called lily turf. Zones 5 through 10. Deer rating strong. Slow to establish, but divides reliably every 3 to 4 years once mature. One honest heads up, choose the clumping type, Liriope muscari, not the running type, Liriope spicata, which can travel farther than you'd like. The clumping kind is one of the best ground covers for Zone 10, evergreen in mild climates, and perfect for shady slopes and border edges. Plant number 12. Astilbe. Zones 3 through 8. Deer rating strong. Think feathery plumes of pink, white, and ruby, lighting up the shade like little fireworks. It divides every 3 to 4 years, dig up the clump, cut through the crown, replant. Best in shade or dappled light with consistent moisture. If you have a shady, wet corner where nothing else will grow, A stilb will thrive there and multiply steadily. Plant number 13. Lavender. Zones 5 through 9. Deer rating bulletproof. Here is the honest truth about lavender that most growers learn the hard way. It is not a plant and forget option if you have heavy clay. Lavender needs sharp drainage, otherwise the roots rot. It demands a hard pruning every spring. And it rarely survives a harsh winter in zones 5 and 6 without heavy protection. But in the right conditions, zones 7 through 9 with sandy, lean soil lavender is long-lived, highly deer-resistant thanks to its intense oils, and those cuttings root easily to give you free clones season after season. Plant number 14. Ornamental grass. Multiple species, zones 3 through 10. Deer rating strong. I want to be direct here because this came up repeatedly in gardener feedback. Ornamental grasses can be very difficult to remove once established. Some varieties spread aggressively. Choose clumping varieties, not running types. Divide every 3 to 5 years. Grasses are striking and drought tolerant, but plant them with full awareness of their spread. Plant number 15. Peonies. Zones 3 through 8. Deer rating bulletproof. In the vast majority of gardens, deer will pass them right by, and they're exceptionally resilient against the typical pests and diseases that trouble other plants. Picture lush, ruffled blooms the size of a softball, in blush pink and creamy white, perfuming the whole yard in late spring. Long-lived, too, a well-planted peony can outlive you by decades. And this is the one I promised you at the beginning. One mature peony clump, according to Iowa State University Extension and the Chicago Botanic Garden, can be divided into 6 to 10 sections, each section with 3 to 5 healthy buds. Peony divisions sell at garden centers for $25 to $50 each. Do the math. One clump. One autumn afternoon. $250 to $500 in nursery value plants. That is the multiplication engine in its most powerful form. And that is why peonies are the answer to the question I asked at the very start. Before you grab your spade, we need to have a quick word about pet safety. These multipliers are incredible for your wallet, but 2 of them come with a warning. Daylilies are highly toxic to cats, and hostas contain saponins that don't sit well with dogs. So if you've got furry companions roaming the yard, tuck those 2 into protected beds and keep the fresh divisions out of paw's reach while you work. Work smarter and keep the whole family safe. Now you know the 15 plants. Here is exactly how to run your free plant weekend. Step 1 is timing. Divide most summer blooming perennials in early spring, just as new growth emerges. Divide fall blooming plants in spring as well. Peonies are an exception. Divide those in early fall, after the plant goes dormant. Never divide a plant while it is actively blooming. Never divide in summer heat. Step 2 is the method. Dig around the outer edge of the clump with a spade. Lift the entire root ball. Shake or rinse off loose soil. Gently pull sections apart by hand, or use a sharp knife to cut through dense crowns. Each division needs at least 2 to 3 shoots and a healthy root system. Replant at the same depth as the original. Water thoroughly. Statamize. Step 3 is what you do with the divisions. Replant them across your yard to fill empty beds. Pot them up to give to neighbors. Nothing builds goodwill faster than showing up with a flat of free perennials. Just pass along a quick warning with any plant that's toxic to pets. A good gardener always sends the heads up along with the gift. Or bring them to a local garden swap. Daylily and hosta divisions consistently go for $10 to $15 each at plant sales. The one mistake that cancels all of this out is dividing too early. Plants need 3 to 5 years in the ground before they have enough stored energy to divide well. Divide a 1-year-old daylily and you just set it back 2 seasons. Wait for the clump to establish. Then divide. Results will vary by zone, soil conditions, and plant age, but the principle holds everywhere. Stop buying plants. Start growing plants that grow more plants. Here is your action plan. Stop paying the annual spring tax. The next time you go to the garden center, skip the petunias and head straight for the perennial section. Pick 3 plants from this list that match your zone and your deer situation. Plant them this spring. Leave them alone for 3 to 5 years. Then divide. Your garden will start paying you back. Before you go, comment below and tell me which plant from this list you're starting with. I read every single comment. And if you're not sure which 3 to pick for your specific zone, drop your zone number in the comments and I'll help you choose. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of gardeners.